The radio screamed through my floor, a distorted sermon shaking the apartment. It was Lois again. Her nightly ritual of religious fervor turned into a maddening cacophony. I had to make her stop. I pounded on her door, my knuckles raw, but she only cranked the volume higher. The hallway echoed with the preacher's frantic voice, a grotesque mockery of peace. Finally, the door creaked open, revealing Lois. The stench that poured out was like decay, a nauseating mix of neglect and something far more sinister. Her eyes were wild, her skin like parchment stretched over bone. Behind her, the apartment was a chaos of religious symbols and filth, a glimpse into a mind unraveling. She spat a cigarette ash onto the floor and gave me a broken smile before slamming the door in my face. The sound echoed, a finality to her madness. That night, I tried to block out the world, but sleep was a battlefield where her image lingered, a constant reminder of the nightmare next door. I woke to an open door, and the feeling of being watched, a primal fear that crawled under my skin and paralyzed me. "You really should leave your door locked," she whispered, her voice like gravel, before vanishing back into the darkness. Panic seized me, a living thing that squeezed my chest and stole my breath. I was trapped in my own bed, a prisoner of fear. The next day, the landlord stormed off to deal with her, a shovel over his shoulder, a grim promise of intervention. A metallic stench began to seep from her apartment, a sickening aroma that made our eyes water and our stomachs churn. Whispers spread among the neighbors, tales of a bag dragged to the dumpster, a secret too terrible to speak aloud. Then came the police, their arrival a stark confirmation of our worst fears. The yellow tape, a barrier against the unspeakable. They opened the bag, and the sun glinted on something that stole our breath, a horror that defied description. Lois, they said, had kept vigil with her sister, unable to let her go, transforming grief into a grotesque act of possession. She had carried her sister's body to the bathtub, where she began her dark ritual, a desperate attempt to cheat death. She had cut, wrapped, and buried pieces in her yard, an unholy act of devotion born from madness and denial. As they led her away, her eyes pleaded and judged, a haunting duality that spoke of a broken mind and a twisted heart. They carted out the crucifixes, the ashtrays, the detritus of a life consumed by devotion and madness, a testament to the darkness within. Cameron told us of her visit, a box cutter glinting in her hand, the same chilling words echoing in the night. "You shouldn't leave your door unlocked," she had said, a chilling reminder of the thin line between neighborliness and terror. Months passed, and a new couple moved in, but the silence was never truly quiet, always pregnant with the potential for horror. "Keep my door locked now," the deadbolt, a cold comfort against the darkness that might be lurking just beyond the threshold. But in the dark hours, I still dream of her, a figure in the doorway, a voice that asks if I remember to lock my door. It wasn't a warning, but an observation, a reminder of how close we are to each other, how thin the walls between sanity and madness. Sometimes, horror isn't what you see, but what sits across the hall, choosing you without knocking. A silent invasion of your life. I remember the cigarette ash on her floor, the broken teeth, the frantic crosses, all symbols of a life unraveling. Always lock your door at night. It's a confession, an admission of vulnerability in a world filled with hidden dangers. It's the last thing that lingers when the building exhales and darkness moves from apartment to apartment, searching for an invitation. I never leave the door unlocked. Never again. She is always there. I now keep to myself, too afraid to talk to anyone. There are things in this world you cannot comprehend, and I learned that the hard way. It visits me in my dreams, always the same words. You should have locked the door. Even now, I swear I can hear her. The shuffle of her feet, the smell of cigarettes. If you are reading this, please heed my warning. Always lock your door. You never know who might be waiting on the other side.